If there is one person in the Trump regime, other than Trump himself, that I cannot stand with a passion, it's Whiskey Pete Hegseth, the Secretary of War. This man, the reason I hate this man so much, other than the fact that he's a racist bigot, and he makes it clear every day he opens his damn mouth, not too recently screaming at West Point graduates that diversity is weakness, to his speech to senior military leadership about how he is bringing back the warrior ethos and making moves that will demoralize our military, especially men and women of color and the LGBTQ, shows nothing but disdain for those who sacrifice life and limb for country. And the perfect example of it that he gave us was on June 6, 2026, the anniversary of perhaps one of the most important military moments of our nation's military itself. D-Day, the invasion of Normandy, which was the linchpin of our victory in Europe and during the Second World War. Pete Hegseth decided to show up for a ceremony commemorating that day on the beaches of Normandy, the cemetery marking the graves of American, British, and Canadian soldiers fighting against Nazi troops, fighting for victory and freedom. And Pete Hegseth decided to piss on those graves. In the village of Lagrange-sur-Mer, forgive me if I'm saying that incorrectly, residents and civic groups made crystal clear they didn't want Pete Hegseth there. One local leader said that Hegseth holds, and I quote, values contrary to democracy, human rights, and peace, unquote. Another blatantly labeled him as representing, and I quote, colonial, warmongering, racist, far-right values, unquote. I can't disagree with either one of those statements. You listen to this man, you talk to this man, and you see and hear a man who will personally and with pride burn the American flag if it brings pleasure to his right-wing fascist views. This man destroyed his own damn career in the United States Army because of white supremacist tattoos. They proudly displays everywhere he goes. Those workout videos he does with our troops. Those tattoos are still on his body. But let's get back to the ceremony that he was there. True to form, he didn't show any kind of humility or gratitude for the sacrifices for a day like that. Any person, even if you read about it, or if you watch World War II movies like Saving Private Ryan, where you saw the landings in Normandy, you understand that was perhaps the bloodiest times of World War II. But those men gave their lives to defeat fascism, to fight for freedom. And Hegseth showed no gratitude for that. He didn't even mention them in his speech. Instead, he repeated a speech that was probably written by Donald Trump himself. He used the speech to take pot shots at our European allies, not because they fought against them at D-Day, but because they didn't join Donald Trump's war in Iran, which Donald Trump himself started, and to inject MAGA politics into the commemoration by hideously comparing the heroic D-Day landings with the arrival of migrant boots in Europe, trying to spread that myth of invasion of migrants the same way they tried to do here in the United States. Hegseth, I'm going to be very straight with you. I'm going to be very honest with you, and I don't care how this makes me sound. You're a fucking disgrace. You are a disgrace to the uniform, a disgrace to our country, a disgrace to the army, all of it. You were standing at the same place where American men, people braver than you, gave their lives for this country to defeat a fascist regime, the same kind of fascist regime that Donald Trump is trying to build up. And you decide to piss all over their memories? Hegseth, the only reason why you're still in your post now as Secretary of War is because you're nothing more than a Donald Trump dick sucker. If Donald Trump were to give you direct orders to kill every member of the United States military, you wouldn't hesitate to do so. That is how far you have fallen. And if you were there at Normandy, my view is you would wear a Nazi uniform killing our soldiers. Because quite honestly, I think that's the kind of fantasy life you have in that brain of yours. My advice to you, take a few drinks of scotch or whatever the hell you used to drink. Go back to your office in the Pentagon. Write your resignation there and run as fast as you can to another country. Because once Donald Trump is out of office, I promise you, you will be held accountable for what you've done. From Sinogate all the way to your war crimes in Iran. It's going to happen. And you will spend whatever is left of your drunken ass life in Fort Leavenworth, Kansas. And that ain't no military base. That's the United States Military Disciplinary Barracks, i.e. prison. Oh yes, it will happen. CTP, no truth. God bless. Peace to the left, justice to the right.